that time of year, about 2 weeks away from the start of the NBA regular season. So I'm going to hop in and talk about my way too early NBA awards predictions. Now, in each award, I'm going to have the top 3 finalists, and I'm going to have a dark horse as well. First up, we have to start with MVP, the most important award in the NBA. And as my winner, I have Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Luka has been in the conversation for this award for the past 2 seasons pretty consistently. However, his biggest downfall has always been he had such a slow start to the season because he's been a little out of shape. He's been a little chunky. But from what we've seen over in the EuroLeague, he looks like he's in the best shape of his career so far. So I think that slow start that he always has is going to be very minimal, and he's going to come out the gates firing, and he's just going to be the leading candidate pretty much all throughout the season and eventually win the award. I think it's about time that Luka Doncic gets this award. My second slot of the finalists, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, he's already won 2 awards, and the NBA hates giving players their third MVP award because when you get your third one, it's like you have solidified yourself as an all-time talent. And I think just getting that, and he definitely deserves that third MVP. And if he gets it, well, then we're going to have a whole new conversation about Giannis Antetokounmpo. And especially now the Bucks are going to be healthy this year, and they're going to be a true title contender once again. Third, I have Nikola Jokic. Now, again, I had that conversation about getting your third MVP, especially, three-peating with the award. Very, very difficult. Really fills the advanced stats. If you look at his advanced stats, they are all-time great, all-time record-breaking. And so a lot of stat heads out there are going to give Jokic the vote because of his impact on the analytics of the game. So a lot of the more nerdy NBA fans who really follow those give him the vote. And my dark horse is Ja Morant. Gives you the highlights. It gives you the scoring ability. He's a fan favorite. He always knows what to say in front of the camera. And if the Memphis Grizzlies finish top 4, it's a real possibility that he gets the award. There's some other dark horses out there like Anthony Edwards, in my opinion. You have Jason Tatum. But I think Ja Morant is ahead of those guys just because of his style of play and his flashiness. He's going to get a lot of attention all year for that Memphis Grizzlies team. Next, we have Rookie of the Year. And as my winner, I have Paolo Banchero. It's kind of a runaway for him right now, in my opinion. I mean, he looked really good in Summer League. Yes, Summer League doesn't matter a whole lot in this conversation. The opportunity in Orlando, as they're not a strong basketball team yet. He can score on, in the paint from the 3 a little bit, mid-range. And he's just going to get the looks, and he looks to be the most NBA-ready prospect. So just with that conversation alone, he's going to have a very high chance of winning this award if he stays healthy, of course. At number 2, I have Jaden Ivey from the Detroit Pistons. Now, this one may be kind of a shock to y'all, but he looks like a really talented player. I mean, he can score on all 3 levels. And he's playing with a great point guard in Cade Cunningham. He's going to draw a lot of attention at the rim. And Cade can also pass the ball really well. It's a nice kick out Jaden Ivey for the 3. And he's going to get a lot of run with this Pistons team. And this Pistons team is just exciting alone. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this team to possibly make the play-in. So people can be looking out for Jaden Ivey this season. Third, I have Keegan Murray from the Sacramento Kings. Now, you can make the argument that he's more of a ready NBA prospect than Paolo Banchero. I'm pretty sure Keegan Murray did a couple extra years at college. And he's a lights-out three-point shooter. Can score at all 3 levels. Has a nice floater. Shoot the mid-range. He's a very, very nice talent. Just my only concern with him is the shot attempts and the playing time, because they did stack up at the shooting guard at the wing position this year. They got Kevin Huerter. They got Malik Monk. I think they still have Terrence Davis. They have Harrison Barnes. They got a couple guys who could fill in, those minutes, who have played in the NBA for a long time, know what they're doing, because Sacramento is trying to make the playoffs, so I don't know how much they're going to let Keegan Murray beat him. But I have him at 3 just because that's my only worry. But if he was on a team that wasn't focused on winning games, I'd have him a lot higher on this list and a lot higher chance of winning this award. In my dark horse is Bennedict Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers. He was drafted 6th overall by them. The only chance I see him actually winning this award is that if Buddy Hield eventually does get moved and then he can slide in that shooting guard position. I just like Bennedict Mathurin because his confidence is really high. He's going to shoot the ball. He's going to put up a lot of points, especially playing with Tyrese Haliburton, who loves to pass the ball and he can dime you up anywhere on the court. He's going to get a shot attempts. But the odds for him are very, very low. If he does end up starting for them, I think his odds increase. But for right now, he's just a dark horse. And I did leave Jalen Smith off the list So I think he's going to be relying heavily on guards to create opportunities for him. And the guards that Houston has very score-first oriented guards, so I don't think he's going to get the attempts and the looks he's going to need. Not saying he can't develop that perimeter game and the ball handling, but just given the other guys on the team, I don't think he's going to get the opportunity he needs to win this award. Next, we have Defensive Player of the Year. Now, my number one guy is Bam Adebayo. It's pretty much about time that he wins this award. He can pretty much defend all 5 positions. He can defend the rim. If he gets switched out of the perimeter on a guard, he can hold his own and do a great job at it. And I think it's just about time that he wins the damn award. Next, maybe a surprise to y'all, but I think Evan Mobley has a really, really strong chance of winning this award. Again, he's like 7 foot tall, can guard the rim at an elite rate, and he can hold his own on the perimeter. And another point on Evan Mobley is that Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell cannot play a lick of perimeter defense. So what I suspect that their defensive game plan is going to be is just kind of funnel the penetrating guards that Garland and Mitchell should be guarding, just funnel them right into the paint where Evan Mobley is going to be standing down there nice and tall to deflect or block the shot. Third, I have Robert Williams. Now, Robert Williams' effect on the Celtics defense last year was just out of this world. I mean, he really made that defense go because with his interior shot blocking, you allowed guys like Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum to jump out in the passing lanes, take more of a gamble on potential steals or deflections, because you knew that if the gamble went south and the player you're defending gets the ball, blows by you, you have the defensive anchor down below in Robert Williams. I think they're going to do a similar type of defensive set that way. And if Robert Williams can just stay healthy, that's been his biggest issue. If he can just stay healthy, he has a very, very big chance of winning this award. And my dark horse is Mikal Bridges. Now, because the game is so perimeter-oriented these days that defenders have to chase guys like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Got to chase them all around the perimeter to try to stop them. And I feel like wing defenders are always underlooked in this, in the award conversation because their analytics aren't as good when it comes to defensive impact. But Mikal Bridges is gonna have to be guarding Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and then go guard LeBron the next day, and then go guard Kevin Durant, and then Jason Tatum, and then Kawhi Leonard, and then back to a point guard, and then have to guard some 4s and some 5s. Like, he's a very versatile defender, and he's gonna be guarding the best player in every single team every single night. Next, we're moving on to Sixth Man of the Year. Now, I think this guy's going to run away with this award, and that is Jordan Poole. But Poole is just way too talented to be on the bench as is. So having him as a sixth man is just a luxury for the Golden State Warriors. And I think he's just going to do what he does and average damn near 20 points on high efficiency and just run away with the award, similar to what Tyler Hero did this past season. Speaking about Tyler Hero, there still is really no conversation whether he's going to be starting or coming off the bench yet. So I just have him as finishing number 2. I probably would put him number 1 if I knew for certain he'd be coming off the bench, but I don't. When Jimmy's sitting, that's when you put Tyler Hero in there to pretty much be a one-man offense for that team. So I do ultimately think he will be coming off the bench again. So Tyler Hero at number 2. And at number 3, I got Malcolm Brogdon for the Boston Celtics. You already know Marcus Smart is going to miss some times this year with some, knick-knack injuries. You already have some injury-riddled guys like Robert Williams, Danilo Gallinari. Derek White can be inconsistent at times. So we're really going to rely on Malcolm Brogdon to come in and do what he does. Shoot a very high efficient rate, low volume, and then create offense for others, play good defense. I think he's going to be one of the more impactful guys off the bench in the league this season. So that's why I have him finishing number 3 in the Sixth Man of the Year. And my dark horse is Norman Powell from the Clippers. So I project the Clippers starting lineup to be like Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, like Rocco, and then Zubac. So you have some guys in that team who will need to rest and will set out some games this season. So Norman Powell will start some games, but they're not enough for him to be ineligible for the award. And he's just a bucket, man. Norman Powell can give you about 20 points per game any given night if he gets a shot attempts, which I think he will on this Clippers team. Finally, we have Most Improved. Now, I think Anthony Edwards is a runaway with this award. He's going to jump up to 27, 28 point per game averaging this season. After the playoff run they had last year, he solidified himself as the best player on that Minnesota Timberwolves team. So when he solidifies himself as the best player, you get first dibs on shot attempts. That's just how it's going to be. He's going to get a lot more shot attempts. He's going to run out in transition because they're going to get more defensive stops with Rudy Gobert. And he's just going to be a dog. He's going to be amazing. He's going to shoot well from three. He's going to get to the basket anytime he can. And he's an exciting player to watch. He's going to win the award. Next, one of my favorite point guards out in the East, you have Tyrese Halliburton. He's going to be given the keys to the team for the entire season. We have yet to see this out of Halliburton. His first year and a half with Sacramento, it was Fox. Fox was given the keys. He was the point guard. He was the main guy. Got traded to Indiana after the trade deadline, and we saw what he looked like when he had the keys of the offense, and he looked spectacular. He looked amazing, averaging like 12 and 10 or 12 and 11. I think we're going to see similar things from Tyrese Halliburton this season, just at a higher volume of scoring, and then his assists are always going to be high because he's a great playmaker. Next, I have Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is the only guy in the Utah Jazz team that can put the basketball in the hoop besides Jordan Clarkson. So I think Colin Sexton is going to average like 60 points per game this season. Not actually. I actually see Colin Sexton averaging like close to 25 because they're going to just look at him and be like, can you score the ball for us? Because no one else can. That's pretty much what's going to be the game plan for the Jazz this year. Obviously, they're not trying to win any games, so they're just going to let Sexton do his thing. And even though the team's probably the worst in the league, you're going to look at his stat jump and be like, oh, wow, this guy really improved, which in reality I think is mainly just going to be off shot attempts, but that's just the way it is. You look at the stats, see how they improved. You pick the guy who had, relatively the best jump in stats. And my dark horse for this award is DeAndre Ayton. Now, when I wrote this script, I wrote it before the Suns media day, so maybe it's going to change, but I'm just going to stick with it because I think he's going to have a point to prove. And I just hope I don't regret this at all. I think he could average like 23 and like 11 boards a game and potentially be an all-star at the center spot this year for the Phoenix Suns. Maybe make All-NBA third team. Kind of stretch now. He doesn't look too happy to be in Phoenix. I thought he would at least have a fake smile at media day, but he wasn't about it. So right now, dark horse for most improved is DeAndre Ayton. But like I said, that doesn't really matter because Anthony Edwards is going to win the damn thing.